We're not all as lucky as Bill Maher, you know? That fat shaming only does one thing. It makes people feel ashamed. And shame leads to depression, anxiety, and...
To millions of fans, James Corden is a lovable, comedic powerhouse. A man who brings laughter, music, and heart to late-night television. Carpool Karaoke, viral sketches, and his British charm have made him a household name. But behind the cameras, away from the adoring audiences, a very different story exists. Not everyone loves James Corden. In fact, some celebrities reportedly loathe him, and now the reasons are finally coming to light. Whispers, leaked accounts, and shocking confessions reveal a pattern of tension, rivalry, and frustration with the man who seems so charming on a screen. From alleged on-set clashes to public feuds, Corden has left a trail of controversy that rarely makes headlines but speaks volumes behind the scenes. In this documentary, we will uncover the stories, examine the grudges, and explore why some of Hollywood's biggest names cannot stand him. James Corden's rise in Hollywood seemed meteoric, and to the casual observer, his charm and humor made him nearly untouchable. But those who have worked closely with him tell a far more complex story, one of subtle tensions, ego clashes, and moments that quietly fractured relationships. Early in his career, Corden was known as the comedian with an infectious energy, someone who could light up a room with a joke or a well-timed prank. Yet as he transitioned from stage to screen, from British television to hosting The Late Late Show in America, the very qualities that made him endearing on camera reportedly began to irritate colleagues. On set, some celebrities allegedly found his humor invasive rather than playful, his improvisation cutting rather than funny. A few actors have hinted that Corden, in his eagerness to be the center of attention, often overshadowed co-stars during promotional appearances or live performances. The Carpool Karaoke segment, beloved by audiences worldwide, is a prime example. While fans see laughter and joy, some celebrities privately describe the process as orchestrated to favor Corden, leaving the singer or guest feeling uncomfortable or manipulated. Behind closed doors, there are whispers of disputes over control, who directs the segment, who gets the punchline, and who walks away looking good. One former guest, speaking anonymously, remarked that what appears friendly banter on camera often masks a tense power dynamic where politeness on the surface hides simmering irritation. Industry insiders also point to Corden's rise in American late-night television as a turning point. As his influence grew, so did the pressure on guests to play along with his antics, regardless of their comfort level. Some stars, particularly those who value privacy or dislike being put on the spot, reportedly bristled at the calculated nature of his comedy. Add to this, reports of him joking about co-stars or making light of sensitive topics for laughs, and a pattern emerges that explains why certain celebrities quietly dislike him. While Corden's public persona is polished, carefully crafted, and overwhelmingly cheerful, his professional behavior has been described by some as manipulative, using charm and wit to bend situations to his favor. For those who fell victim to his tactics or felt sidelined, the smile was never enough to erase the sting. The irony, of course, is that Corden's greatest strength, his humor, can also be his greatest source of friction. To fans, he is a harmless comedian, a viral sensation, a star. To some of the very people he works with, he is a reminder of the fine line between playful charisma and overbearing control. And as we dig deeper into the accounts of those who have interacted with him on set, backstage, or in interviews, a clearer picture emerges. The man who seems universally loved may not be so universally adored after all. While James Corden's public persona is polished and inviting, the backstage reality of Hollywood tells a different story. Over the years, whispers of tension, disagreements, and outright feuds with certain celebrities have grown louder, shedding light on why some of Hollywood's biggest names reportedly dislike him. Sources suggest that on the set of The Late Late Show, clashes often erupted when stars felt uncomfortable with Corden's insistence on improvisation or his need to dominate segments for comedic effect. One recurring complaint involved Carpool Karaoke, where guests are expected to perform, joke, and sometimes sing along in ways they may not have anticipated. While fans see fun and spontaneity, several celebrities privately confessed that the segments felt manipulative, designed to showcase Corden at the center while making the guest appear secondary. Beyond these structured segments, accounts of tense moments backstage have surfaced. Missed cues, disagreements over script direction, and clashes during sketch recordings. Some actors reported feeling pressured to participate in bits that made them uneasy or uncomfortable, fearing the public might judge them if they refused. A few notable celebrities who wished to remain anonymous shared that Corden could be relentless in seeking approval, often turning humorous situations into subtle competitions to assert his influence. It's not that he was openly hostile or aggressive. It was a quieter, more insidious type of tension, the kind that slowly erodes trust and patience. And when disagreements occurred in public, Corden's charm often masked the friction, leaving fans and audiences none the wiser. It is perhaps this duality, public warmth versus private control, that fuels resentment. While Corden's comedic instincts may have earned him an Emmy and a legion of adoring fans, they also reportedly cost him friendships and professional respect behind the scenes. Some of the most vocal critics within Hollywood have suggested that he thrives on the spotlight at the expense of his co-stars, creating a dynamic where collaboration feels secondary to self-promotion. Others argue that the issue is generational. Older stars, accustomed to a different pace of production, clash with Corden's energetic, rapid-fire approach. Regardless, the pattern is clear. Those who have worked closely with him often leave. With a mix of admiration and frustration, a recognition of talent shadowed by irritation or distrust. And while Corden rarely faces these allegations publicly, the stories exist, forming a hidden narrative behind the laughter, the viral hits, and the awards. It's a reminder that in Hollywood, charm and talent are only part of the equation. How one treats colleagues, manages egos, and balances ambition with empathy can leave a lasting mark, sometimes one of disdain. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden truths of Hollywood and want more behind-the-scenes stories, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Every story deserves to be told. In the end, the resentment isn't always about bad behavior. It's about perception, control, and the subtle ways power plays out behind the cameras. And for some celebrities, those backstage battles were enough to leave a lasting, negative impression of James Corden that continues to this day. Comedy is a delicate art, and James Corden's success relies on walking the fine line between charm, wit, and provocation. But while audiences may laugh, some celebrities claim that behind the laughter lies a more troubling pattern. Moments when Corden's humor crossed boundaries, causing discomfort and even lasting resentment. Numerous accounts suggest that Corden, in his zeal to entertain, sometimes prioritized the joke over the feelings of those involved, turning private interactions into public spectacles without consent. Stories have circulated of skits or pranks where guests felt ambushed, humiliated, or pressured into participating, often in front of cameras rolling for millions to see. While the intention may have been comedic, the effect was anything but. Actors who are normally composed or media-savvy reportedly found themselves flustered, embarrassed, and in some cases, frustrated enough to vow never to work with him again. Even seasoned performers, accustomed to the unpredictable world of television, described moments where the jovial atmosphere concealed a sharp undertone. Corden's energy and insistence on pushing boundaries, they said, could feel manipulative rather than playful. Some of the industry's biggest names allegedly walked away from appearances feeling that their professionalism had been compromised for the sake of a laugh, or that they had been subtly coerced into participating in sketches that made them uncomfortable. Friends and insiders also reveal that certain repeated patterns, overly personal jokes, targeted jabs, and staged improvisations designed to highlight Corden contributed to a growing sense of resentment. These incidents weren't necessarily malicious in intent, but they created an environment where trust was difficult to maintain. Humor, in this context, became a weapon of control, subtly reminding collaborators who was in charge of the narrative and who was there to play along. The irony, of course, is that Corden's very talent, the ability to make people laugh, to diffuse tension with charm, became the source of his most significant interpersonal challenges. Where fans saw energy and spontaneity, some colleagues saw calculation and self-interest. It is in these nuances that the reported animosity of certain celebrities begins to make sense. While he has built a career on likability and approachability, the behind-the-scenes accounts depict a man whose ambition and drive occasionally overshadowed the comfort and dignity of others. And yet, Corden's ability to maintain public goodwill, despite these grievances, underscores the duality of celebrity culture. The audience's perception often diverges dramatically from the private reality, leaving those who have experienced the tension feeling unheard. In Hollywood, fame is rarely linear, and personal relationships are often tested by ambition, ego, and the pursuit of visibility. For some, Corden's methods, however charming to the world, were a source of enduring frustration. And for those who bear these stories, the laughter may have faded long before the cameras stopped rolling, leaving only the bitter aftertaste of jokes that should have never been told. By now, James Corden's career has reached heights that many could only dream of. Yet the behind-the-scenes accounts reveal that his relationships with certain celebrities remain strained, leaving a complex legacy that goes beyond laughter and viral hits. The stories of discomfort, frustration, and outright disdain have lingered long after the cameras stop rolling, illustrating a side of Hollywood rarely seen by the public. For some actors and performers, working with Corden was a calculated risk, a gamble that his charm and talent would not overshadow their own professionalism or compromise their reputation. When those calculations went wrong, resentment brewed, quietly eroding the bonds that might have otherwise led to fruitful collaborations. Celebrities who once considered appearing on his shows found themselves wary, anticipating scripted chaos, surprise pranks, or subtle jabs that would make them appear foolish to millions. Even within his own production team, there are whispers of tension, where creative disagreements and differences in approach created friction. The irony is that Corden's success depends on collaboration and spontaneity, yet those very qualities, when mismanaged, have fostered discomfort and mistrust among the talent he seeks to entertain. Over time, these isolated incidents, once private grievances, have coalesced into a broader narrative, that of a performer whose brilliance on stage and screen is tempered by a tendency to alienate those closest to him professionally. This duality has become his legacy in certain circles, adored by the public, lauded for his comedic genius, yet quietly resented by a subset of Hollywood who felt their boundaries were ignored or their contributions diminished. Yet there is nuance here as well. Not all stories are negative, and Corden's charisma and work ethic have also forged friendships and admiration among many peers. The resentment tends to cluster around moments where perception of control, ego, and humor intersected in ways that rubbed some the wrong way. These dynamics offer a cautionary tale about the precarious balance of public and private personas, of charm and power, and of ambition in an industry where perception is everything. James Corden's journey is a testament to the complexities of fame. It shows that being universally liked is nearly impossible when the pressures of performance, media scrutiny, and interpersonal dynamics collide. His career is a reminder that in Hollywood, public applause often masks private tension, and that a star's legacy is shaped as much by relationships behind the scenes as by accolades in the spotlight. The story of the celebrities who hate him, then, is not just about individual grievances. It is a window into a broader truth about the entertainment industry itself. Charm, talent, and success can coexist with resentment, and sometimes the price of maintaining a beloved public image is quietly alienating those who know you best. In the end, James Corden's legacy will be defined not only by his triumphs, but also by the silent stories of those who bristled, resisted, and sometimes quietly loathed the man behind the microphone.